You've spent a number of units in your time at the school persuading audiences. But each time we seem to begin again from the beginning, and now is the time to transfer all of the information, all of the knowledge you've got, and apply it in a meaningful way. So, looking at page 26 of the text, you're going to be looking at the strategies and skills that you need to develop to persuade your audience. The first skill is obviously actually speaking. Not reading your speeches, but actually sharing your thoughts in a meaningful way that holds authority and that appears authentic. So, let's have a little look. For your assessment task, you will need to persuade an audience to accept your perspective on a social issue. Persuasive speaking and speeches are a form of activism and a very successful one. Speakers have used their words to persuade audiences for thousands of years. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle believed that a speaker could be persuasive by appealing to the audience on 3 different ways, and these 3 different ways continue to be very important today. Logos, logic, is appealing to reason. This can be achieved by basing an argument on logic and sense, using facts, data, and other hard evidence. Pathos, think of the word pathetic and pity. It appeals to emotion. This can be achieved by targeting the emotions of the audience quite deliberately, especially their fear and anger, and their fear of missing out. Making things personal for the audience, using dramatic and emotional language and visuals, using personal stories and anecdotes to make the audience feel as though they have a relationship with the speaker and therefore invest in them. And then you have ethos, which is the appeal to the character and credibility of the speaker, and this can be achieved by demonstrating expertise and trustworthiness, and showcasing the speaker's character. There are 3 pillars of persuasion. You're going to identify which of these appeals you use most when you're trying to persuade other people. Justify your points. We'll do this in class and discuss it. However, if you're missing from class, please write it in your OneNote. Explain how the speaker in each of the following contexts could establish credibility. A sporting coach speaking to a team about good sportsmanship could only be believable, credible, and authentic if everything that belonged to their story, their context, upheld those values, those views. If that particular coach had been responsible for any bad sportsmanship, then unless they were using the anecdote of that experience as a lesson from which they learned massive lessons and changed their behavior, you probably wouldn't believe them when it came to talking about good sportsmanship. Think about a doctor speaking to teenagers about healthy eating. What might the context be in order for you to believe them? And a teacher speaking to other teachers at a staff meeting about behavior management strategies. What would that person need in order to be considered credible? You're going to choose one of the speakers from question 2 and you're going to write 75 words. It's a 75-word introduction to a speech that allows them to establish their credibility. You have got to grab your audience's attention with a very strong hook. You've got to establish who they are. And you've got to make sure that each of the appeals, ethos, pathos, and logos, are there. So I'm going to stop it here, and we'll do the task.